Flames broke out near Stagecoach Pass and Boulder View Drive. That's where you're looking here, right on this map, around 3:30 on Thursday afternoon. Right now, two areas are our main focus. One remains under a go evacuation order. The other has been downgraded, allowing some people to return home this morning. Thanks for being here. I'm Emily Pritchard.
I'm Allison Rodriguez. So a lot to get to, as you can tell. 12 News has been tracking this fire since it first broke out. We brought you live coverage of this yesterday, so we continue that this morning with team coverage for you. We have two teams set up at different ends of this fire, as you can see. We also have meteorologist Crystal Henderson standing by to break down the impact our weather is having on these flames in the firefight.
But we do start on this Friday morning with our coverage with 12 News journalist Jen Wall. Jen, you're live in North Scottsdale, and what can you see from where you're at? And really, most importantly, how are people doing this morning?
Yeah, good morning to you. I'm coming to you live from 144th and Hawk Nest. So we are on the south side of the fire. It took Rio Verde to get here, and there was a lot of traffic on the way up. Folks evacuating, kind of out and about, just trying to figure out what's going on. I saw law enforcement, firefighters, all working in the efforts to make sure neighbors were staying safe this morning. Now, the glow of the fire has been changing throughout the morning here. So my photographer is going to zoom in for you. You can see there's a lot of smoke. You can see the flames. It'll go up and down at times. And just about, 10 or 15 minutes ago, there were actually two areas that looked just like this off to the left of what you're seeing right now. It looks like it has died down, thankfully. And we've been getting a lot of different information from fire crews throughout the morning. Right now, we can tell you this Boulder View Fire at 2,500 acres, no containment, of course, fueled by all of the hot temperatures, the dry conditions we have out here, the wind. We've been talking with firefighters throughout this entire season. They've been seeing it's a busy one, and it looks to be like that right now as well. And also out here where we are, some neighbors have stopped by. They're kind of keeping an eye on the flames and the smoke because they do have properties in the area. And now joining me live is Danny and Brooke. Thank you so much. I know this is a really, sketchy time for you guys. You're out here, you're watching the smoke and flames, you have property, you have animals. So why don't you give our viewers kind of a rundown on what you're thinking about right now and what you're keeping your eye on?
Yeah, so we were just concerned about the fire moving down into all of the structures. We sit in between 136th and 144th on Dove Valley, and at midnight we got the notice to evacuate. Brooke had witnessed a helicopter flying around giving the orders that we need to go. We just have over 30 head of horses on the property with mares and babies, and we have potbelly pigs and goats and the cats, all the animals. And so it was more of we do have good defensible space. We brought all the mares into our barn that's made out of block and metal. There's not a lot of vegetation on the ground. We do a good job about keeping all of the weeds and stuff down, but still it's very nerve-wracking, especially when you can just see the orange flames over the north side of the houses. Like it definitely sets you on edge.
Absolutely. I can totally understand that. And tell me why you came up here to this area to just keep an eye on the smoke and flames here. What drew you up here this morning?
This is kind of the closest spot that we can get to be able to keep a close eye on the flames. Danny said, the biggest thing for us was it looks so much closer than it is from where we're at. We just want to make sure that it's staying kind of at bay where it is.
So what's going through your mind? You get a knock on your door in the middle of the night. It's law enforcement, and they tell you it's time to evacuate.
Definitely puts a little bit of a panic into your mind right away. And, it's definitely something you need to go and start assessing the situation right away. I called her immediately. We got together. We made a plan. We've had a plan. We have lots of friends in the area that have truck and trailers that are ready to go when we are.
So right now, things are looking good for you guys, right? The fire is staying away?
Yes, ma'am. They did drop it down from a go status to a set status, so that does ease the stress just a little bit.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. So let's hope it stays that way. We know we have incredible firefighters here in Arizona that do a really wonderful job protecting property and wildlife and life as well. But if the unthinkable happens, it is time to evacuate, then what's your plan?
So currently at the property, we have 3 trucks and trailers hooked up, and just down the road on 144th, there is another 6 trucks and trailers that are available. And we have some friends off of 150th that we can take all of the horses to, and then I would just turn the mares and babies out together and hope that everybody gets along.
And you were telling me earlier, it's not just that you have a few animals. I mean, there's mares and babies involved, and then that's a whole other issue for evacuation, right?
Yeah, because typically you can't just throw them all into the trailer like you could if it's just singular horses, mares or geldings. So the foals definitely add that little element of, what are we going to do about this to it? That little stress level, and it's very stressful for the colts as well.
And living out here, having property out here, this time of year, this is always a risk. What goes through your mind every day in the summer when you're seeing these fires pop up nearby?
Just be on alert and make sure you do have the defensible space and access to water trucks, or have a fire evacuation plan, a place to go if something like this does happen. It is just difficult to move that many amounts of horses, but it is doable. And so you're always kind of cautious and paying attention to the winds, and yeah, you can't thank the firefighters enough.
Absolutely. They are wonderful. Well, we appreciate you ladies both talking with us. I know it's really early. You've had a really long night. We'll be thinking about you and hoping that the flames stay over there and that your property is safe and all your animals and everything. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, you heard it right there. A lot of neighbors just kind of out and about this morning. They are keeping an eye on this. And before I send it over to Jade Cunningham, I'm going to have my photographer zoom in one more time just to show you how quickly the smoke and the flames are changing. It was much larger when I started my live shot about 5 minutes ago. You can see it has died down some, and then the blaze that I was talking about just to the left of this, it is still down, but there's a lot of smoke in the area. You can definitely smell it. We're going to be out here live throughout the morning, and we will keep an eye on this. We'll let you know if anything changes, and we will also continue to find neighbors to talk to just about their experience. But for now, we're going to send it over to Jade Cunningham. I believe she's on the north side of this fire, and she's reporting on a quite different experience over there.
Yeah, good morning, Jen. Thank you so much. Right now, we are currently at the intersection of North Cave Creek Road and East Bartlett Dam Road. You can see East Bartlett Dam Road is blocked off right now. There is law enforcement there making sure no one goes through those barricades. We have seen a couple vehicles have to turn around because of it, but from where we are so far back, it's really hard to see much of the Boulder View Fire, but as Jen mentioned, we really can smell that smoke in the air. We just haven't seen a whole lot of activity, though, otherwise, with fire crews or people evacuated, things like that. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of the efforts on trying to get this fire contained, as Jen mentioned, the fire is currently at least 2,500 acres with no containment. It began yesterday afternoon around 2:30, and then by late last night, the fire actually increased in activity along the southeast side. Now on the northwest side, which is where we are, crews were able to tie in the fire off Bartlett Dam Road to Power Line Road, which basically means they were able to slow it down and keep it from progressing north. Now the fire is moving southeast. We know that there are hotshot crews currently from Montana and Nevada that are on the fire, along with a bunch of structure protection engines. And then as of late last night, we also know that there were at least 50 structures, 50 homes that were threatened by this fire. Now obviously things are changing minute by minute, so we are going to be following this. You can stay with 12 News for the latest online and on air. So right now we are going to send things on over to Crystal to take a look at what conditions are looking like now and for the rest of the day today.
Yeah, let's jump right into your fire lines forecast. 102 degrees there on the scene with more sunshine than anything, but we still have to have our ears perked for a stray storm today. Those winds out of the southwest 10 to 15, but here's the thing. If a storm shows up, that's going to send those winds up even more, gusting to the 30s, even 40s potentially. And then there is that added threat of lightning, which could trigger new flames in that area. Relative humidity is at 20%. The weather impact for the rest of the valley is it's going to be another very hot and humid day with the mercury shooting up past that 110 mark for a maximum. So it's going to be another day that you're going to want to limit time outdoors. Plus, there's an ozone high pollution advisory today.